I pointed out on multiple occasions the Caravan organizers have ties to both Castro and Maduro in Venezuela and Cuba. This new information from Mike Pence makes sense. If you're Venezuelan President Maduro, you want to attack the United States, but you barely have enough money to buy any toilet paper. How do you do it? Well, you don't use conventional means. You reach out to your allies, your revolutionaries, your Marxist zealots in South.
I've been saying this since June. Since June. I wonder if some of these guys ever watch my podcasts or watch my scopes. Because I've been saying this since June. I used to do these whiteboard series on it. And why am I getting all of this? I've been saying that for a long time now. Okay. The caravans, as much as we want to think that Soros is the main person involved, he's not. Soros is involved by helping financially. Okay? He's an outsider. This is done literally by the communist rulers of Mexico, Venezuela, and Cuba. Castro, AMLO, and Maduro. They're pissed at the United States. Okay? Mexico has made sure that they're trying to kick out as many American companies like Walmart out of their country, and they're cheering for it. You know. Okay? They're speaking with Marxist ideology. In Venezuela, Maduro has proven that he used Sun Tzu's ideological subversion, all 4 phases to a T. Whether you want to call him a fascist, whether you want to call him a dictator, whether you want to call him a totalitarian, it didn't matter according to Yuri Bezmenov. It doesn't matter what you want to call him. Okay? You can call them you can call them fascists, you can call them Stalinists, Leninists, Maoists, anything you want. Didn't matter. Okay? The name is not as important as the action. The action was totalitarian. Okay. There was one report I saw where they said that this action that is happening in Venezuela has been going on for years. I think the studying of it has been going on for years. But I really think that what Trump did and his cabinet did was a result of them talking in Camp David and their strategy of what they're going to do. If this happens, this happens. If this occurs, this occurs. This is what we need to do. Boom, boom, boom. All along the way. I think they plan their strategy, then they come out. Just like Trump not declaring a national emergency yet. He has to make sure America sees that the Democrats are no longer Democrats. He has to make America see that he's the one bending. I'm willing to give this. What is Nancy willing to give? Nothing. Okay, she's not willing to give in. Okay, I'm going to give more. And what will Nancy do? Nothing. In other words, Nancy's idea of negotiating is to give nothing and get everything. That's her idea of negotiating. Her complete totalitarian style of government. She is no longer a centrist. She's no longer a left-winger. She is straight off into communism. Straight off. She is with the globalists. Again, we have spoken about this before. Globalists are a form of communism just to the nth degree. Okay? Because globalism will include everything that communism had, but it will also include things like death to billions of people. Okay? They will look at extreme genocide. And the globalists want complete and utter serfdom. That is totalitarianism. They do not believe in equality at all. Okay? It is for the select few, and they believe it's for the select few, and that everyone else is just a peon underneath their feet. That is totalitarianism. So whether you want to call these globalists communists or not, it's up to you. But they believe in complete and utter collectivism, totalitarianism. Okay? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. They're running the same gamut as communism, just worse, I think. Okay? And they disguise it in pretty little bows like we love, we care, we share. You know, we care for our land. They don't care for crap. Everything they do is a deception. And as when you guys start seeing that the Democrats are nothing but deceivers. That's all they are. They're literally nothing but Decepticons. I had to use that word. I saw that movie. They're nothing but deceivers, okay? That's what they are. Okay? All right, let's listen more. By the way, everything that this man's talking about, I have spoken about since June. Okay?
America, and you organize and fund thousands of people to flood the U.S. border. It's a pretty inventive way to strike back.
Bingo. Okay, and I said there is, and I knew the reason why. Okay, the reason why it's their, they don't have the military. They don't have the military to fight the United States. Okay? Economically, they can't fight the United States. So the only way they can fight the United States is to try to create what I call an internal virus. Create an internal virus. And he talks, you'll sit there and hear him. He'll say that maybe they are sending in spies from Cuba and Venezuela. Oh, absolutely. But they're not the only place. George Soros and all the globalists are making sure that the people from the Middle East and places in Africa are going to also infiltrate through Central America. This is not just Maduro and Castro and AMLO. It is also the globalists as well, and they're making sure that people are coming in from Bangladesh, from the Middle East, from Africa, from all over China, everywhere, to infiltrate our country and to destroy it internally, create an internal virus. You saw just 2 months ago how the border cities of Mexico panicked when they had these migrants there for 1 week. 1 week. They panicked. They said, we're running out of money. We can't support these people. They were panicking. These people bring mayhem, crime. They ruin a culture, ruin a city. This is not about people that are hurt or destroyed in their country. These people were making good enough money that they're joining the journey and actually paying money to walk along on this journey. They're paying upwards of $5,000 and $6,000 to walk along in this caravan. Seriously? That's not economic strife. What is it? Well, it's because their countries are unsafe. Not that unsafe. What's the real reason? And the real reason is what I told you and what he's telling you. It's done as a form of warfare to try to destroy America. You cannot run a communist country in Mexico if the Americans are not bothered with politics and worrying about how they're going to take care of all these migrants coming across. You have to you distract their mind. You absolutely have to create this virus if you continue to run a communist country in Mexico. That's what Mexico is doing. AMLO became the president, inaugurated December 1st. According to ideological subversion, it takes about 6 months before he gathers his team to start to destroy the country. Approximately 6 months. So about May, he will try to find a way to do the same thing that Maduro did and try to overtake his country. Try to change the constitution, to do whatever. It takes approximately 6 months. The cartel was running Mexico, and they chose AMLO, who created his own party, much in the same manner as Macron. How's it working for Macron, by the way? You know, there was a big old honeymoon for several months. How's it working for him now? Huh? He's running a globalist. Again, doesn't matter what you want to call it. You know, he's running a globalist type of communism up there. No, it's not a Russian type of communism or a Maoist type of communism. No, it is more a globalist type of serfdom, totalitarian collectivism. Same shit. Different name. More severity. Okay?
Not only is it a form of economic warfare, but it also destabilizes the U.S. political structure.
It destabilizes the political structure. No, I think it's actually going to pull it together because it's already destabilized. It's already destabilized. But this will pull people closer to one side or another, but mostly towards the populist movement. So when Trump does eventually say, you know, we have to create a national security. Oh, why isn't he not doing that, by the way? There's a couple good reasons for it. Okay. One of the biggest reasons that he's not doing it is he needs to create an optic for it. And he realizes that the only way that the Supreme Court will grab that decision right away, as opposed to letting the corruptible Ninth Circuit put their hands and paws on it, is if it really is a national emergency. If it really is a crisis at the border, he's going to have that cry for help. Help, I need it now. Now, not yesterday, right now. Then they will have to convene, and they will not have to go through the process. And then they will sit there and say, this is a national emergency. The president has the right to use it. Boom. Because they will try to sue him. Otherwise, if he was to do it right now, Nancy Pelosi would sit there and say, okay, it's going to go through the court processes, but they got to wait. They would drag it out. They would purposely drag it out so that 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 people were crossing the border. Trump has to try to minimize the damage as much as possible. So even if there's 25 to 50,000, which is what I predicted, and I predicted eventually there would be as many as over 250,000 people that they would try to send. They're not done. You have 2 caravans right now, one and then another one starting in El Salvador. There's going to be more and more. It's going to be almost like a weekly basis. The first one done in June was a trial. The second one that was done in October was more, we're going for it. But we got to see how Trump reacts. We really got to see how he reacts. And they're going to try it again. Maybe more people. That's why they need the Democrats' help. That's why they asked the Democrats to get 5,000 liberal judges on there so they can just constantly let these people in and flood them in like water. That's why they always talk about, have these Democrats try to change the narrative. They call it a vanity project. Okay? Old-fashioned. Vanity project, old-fashioned, yeah, all right. They try to change the narrative, calling it a senseless or an imaginary or made-up crisis, okay? Their exact words are manufactured crisis. Okay? And it's to try to hold the narrative at all times. But it's not manufactured. This is the globalist attempt at trying to destroy the country from within. This is the communist attempt from places like AMLO and Mexico and Cuba and Venezuela to come in and do this. So Trump pulls an ace card on him. Trump says, you're done. But what really happens there? There's a couple things that happen that we get to see. You get to see all the Democrats who supposedly were about peace and love and unity coming out supporting Maduro. Really? When's the last time you ever heard Democrats supporting war and supporting a communist dictator? That's why it was really interesting that Nancy Pelosi came out just yesterday and said, we support this new president, Guaido. Okay? Interesting. The first time that she's actually agreed with Trump. Okay, but she won't give Trump any acknowledgement. She's not allowed to. Okay? But a lot of Democrats are, and a lot of these movements are coming out supporting it because they're calling it a President Trump coup. He gets to keep his hands clean, but they're kind of correct. Okay? All he had to do was give permission. That's all he had to do. There was hundreds of thousands of protesters in Venezuela that are ready right now to fight. All they needed was Trump to say, I support you. Because now they feel secure with this. Now they feel like they can attack. So you will have your first of your 5 civil wars in Venezuela. They will be starting to reverse the 4th process of ideological subversion, which is the normalization stage. The only way you can reverse the normalization stage is either by a coup, a military takeover, or by a civil war. Trump is doing a coup through a civil war, meaning he's trying to keep his hands clean. It's like, I didn't do anything. I didn't send the military in there. All he did was give permission of a bunch of angry people that want to see their country taken back. Perfect. Gets to keep his hands nice and clean. Very, very intelligent. Very intelligent. So that's what's happening now. But by doing that, what he also gets to let people like AMLO realize is, I'm keeping an eye on you as well. I know that you're shutting off gas pumps in your own country, and now people are not able to travel to work. I know you are creating private armies going in and arresting and killing people already. I know that you are already trying to destabilize imports coming in from the United States. I know you're doing this. I know that when Mexico signed the USMCA, it was nothing more than a show. Because it has to go through Congress. They realize it's not going to happen. So they showed. So Peña Nieto signs it so he looks like a good guy leaving. But they have no intention, none, in allowing that. Either does Canada. Canada is also controlled by the globalists as well. Look at Justin Trudeau. Okay? They would hurt China immensely. That's what this whole thing was designed for. The whole USMCA was designed to get to not allow China to just steal the labor. And then all of a sudden the cars are made over in China, then they're transported to Canada, and Canada puts one fucking bolt on it, and then all of a sudden they bring it over and say it's a Canadian import. No. It wasn't a Canadian import. That's why there was a certain percentage on everything that had to be done from every single automobile. Okay? So a lot of what was done with the USMCA was to decrease the amount of power for China. That's what it was for. Okay? All right. All right.
That's not to mention how many criminal elements might be tagging along. How many Venezuelan or Cuban spies are using this as...
Okay, he talks about that, and I said it can come from other places as well, Middle East, China, everywhere. But you're also going to have the criminal element, as in MS-13. Absolutely, this is what Obama did. He created this virus to the point where you couldn't stop these people because they spread over 40 of the states in the United States of America. Okay, they were ruining and terrorizing neighborhoods. That's where the left comes in and says, we're going to create a sanctuary city, or like California, a sanctuary state.
Cover to enter our country. How many terrorists might be riding along with the intention of attacking the U.S. targets? Reports this morning are saying that more than two more caravans are currently forming. One in El Salvador and now one in Guatemala. To use a military term, are we being attacked in waves? Was the first caravan of 7,000 just the first wave? How many more will we see? And if this allegation is correct, there is no other way to describe it. The United States is under attack.
You nailed it. U.S. is under attack. Okay? And this is where Trump has to make sure he creates that optic. Okay? He needs Americans to see it. Because there's a lot of Americans, as I have been back now for 7 months, I've seen a lot of Americans that just don't get it. They don't get it. They just think this is all a humanitarian crisis. They don't get it. Because in their hearts, they're liberal. And before 4 years ago, I didn't give a damn about politics, but I thought I was a good American, and I would study CNN News or study MSNBC and go, oh, okay, I got it myself. Okay, I know what to vote for. No, I didn't know crap. I didn't realize it was all an indoctrination process. It wasn't until I pulled away from that and started realizing it's all propaganda bullshit. That's all. You have to pull yourself away from that, and you have to really study. You have to really study. Okay? So there's a lot of these Americans out there that just don't get it. They don't understand that the whole homosexual movement was created by this Khazarian cult in order to push through, create a classification so that they can create more and more and more sexual deviancies to destroy Christianity and capitalism. It wasn't my idea. This was written by Herbert Marcuse. Herbert Marcuse said we can destroy capitalism through sexual perversion. Destroy capitalism and Christianity. And holy crap, was he correct. It was Erich Fromm, another founding member of the Frankfurt School. So was Herbert Marcuse, also founding member of the Frankfurt School. And he said that genderism was a social construct. This is 60-something, 70 years ago. Okay? 60 years ago. Those are the exact words, the exact terminology that you hear from these multi-gendered people that call themselves pansexual. That it's nothing more than a social construct. No. And he goes, so his idea was that genderism is more than just two genders. Okay? That was 60 years ago. And they're using it now. Okay? So Herbert Marcuse's idea, and they use these, by the way. Okay? And in the late 60s, when he came out with this, was the same time as the the same time as the French Revolution. The same thing. These cultists, these Marxists, to destroy the Enlightenment period of objective science, of Christianity, a proper education, and to destroy and create an era of subjectivity, an era of feelings. And the era is called postmodernism. So once they created postmodernism and inserted in the spine, the very essence, the very core of what postmodernism is cultural Marxism. Identity politics, virtue signaling, intersectionality. What do you think this whole new thing that came out just a couple days ago with Nathan Phillips? Why everyone wanted to listen to him? Because it was all based on intersectionality. An elderly man, a vet, an American Indian. How could he possibly lie? And once we found out the guy was nothing more than an activist, he was a piece of shit. He was in the Marine Corps during Vietnam. He was in the brig. He was being arrested for going AWOL on several occasions. He was a refrigerator mechanic, commonly known to as a reefer. That's what he was. That was his job. He was a reefer. He was an activist even back then. He lied about the children. The whole tear thing. You know, they should build that wall. He lied. He was a piece of shit. The kids never approached him. He approached them. Why do you think? And they continue with the propaganda. It was so determined that NBC had to interview that boy, Nicholas Sandman, a 15-year-old boy. And the questions they constantly asked him were, don't you feel any guilt? Don't you feel responsible? No, NBC, you fuckwad pieces of shit. You're trying to justify your bad behavior and you realize what you did was so fucking wrong that you're getting a lot of shit for it. So the best thing you're trying to do is now you're trying to sit there and blame a fucking kid so that you have some justification for your bad behavior? Fuck off. But that's exactly what you did. That's exactly what you did. That is the left. That's what the left is in a nutshell. Totalitarian. Collectivism. Everyone should believe the same bullshit. That's what it's all about, folks. As long as you start catching on to all of this, you're going to get more and more educated. Okay? Stay properly informed. Peace out.